LIV Golf is hiring the marketing executive who thought it was a good idea to reach out to Dylan Mulvaney. Now, this LIV Golf, if you're not familiar, I'm instinctively doing the Trump hands thing. LIV Golf, not the PGA. LIV Golf is a different golf company run out of Saudi Arabia, and they have a little bit different format. They sprung up with a whole bunch of Saudi money, as they will, and paid PGA Tour golfers a shit ton of money to come over. So that's the preface of that company, right? So, strangely enough, they're going to hire, or they have hired, Alyssa Heinerscheid. Alyssa Heinerscheid, who was in charge of the whole Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. So, it's a very interesting move, I would say, for a Saudi Arabia-backed company to hire the girl responsible for Dylan Mulvaney. Let's read some of New York Post's article here, so we're not just, referencing them without giving them their due. Looks like the Saudis shopped the Bud Light fire sale. The disgraced former marketing executive who tanked Bud Light's brand has landed a new job at LIV Golf, in an unlikely pairing between a corporate woke warrior and the controversial Saudi-backed sports league. It's not that controversial. You can just say things are controversial if people have a problem with it, I guess, but the controversy lies in that it is backed by Saudi Arabia, I guess, but I mean, they're fairly, maybe they keep it out of the news, but of all the things in the world right now, I don't think Saudi Arabia is causing the most problems. Maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff they don't let us see, but nevertheless, just being they're from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia spends a lot of money on sports is the issue here, and people don't like that because, as you can imagine, there's some big wigs involved in the PGA Tour, and they don't like that there's competition, basically for the first time ever, or as long as I can remember. LIV is staying mum about the decision to hire former Anheuser-Busch VP Alyssa Heinerscheid, who has been working at the league at a team business operations role since September, according to the LinkedIn page. So she took a little bit of a downgrade there. Team business operations is not marketing executive. So it's probably she's got some good experience, but we can't rely on her and her face to make these decisions for us. Heinerscheid's reputation turned radioactive after her Bud Light dismissal, where her woke rebranding crusade, including the partnership with Dylan Mulvaney, a guy who pretends he's like a 10-year-old girl, cost the company $1.4 billion in sales and billions more in market cap. When reached by the Post, LIV's chief communications officer, Alana Finley, an Irish woman, sounds like, declined to comment on the league's decision to hire Heinerscheid, but a former Anheuser-Busch executive said it's likely LIV swooped in to snatch her up on the cheap. And if we go down, there's the hot and cool and, I guess, all these other things, Dylan Mulvaney. It's truly disturbing, but we've gotten into that ad nauseum over the years, I would assume. A lot of the stuff that made her famous, Heinerscheid, is when not only the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco dropped and they decided to reach out to, this guy who thinks he's a woman or pretends to be a woman to promote beer to people. And I'm reminded of a William Montgomery joke where he says apparently they were tired of selling beer is why they hired this Dylan Mulvaney. But it comes from this marketing executive was on some sort of internal video or internal meeting at Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch, and she was explaining why they want to change their image and why they want to do their marketing different. And she called the beer brand and its drinkers fratty and out of touch. So the thing you guys are going for here that has worked for decades and decades is too lowbrow, collegey humor and out of touch with reality. What we need is a guy pretending to be a girl to market our beer. And of course, this is what happens when you get the young liberal woke white woman in here. Your options are, race superiority or, gender superiority. These are the only options with the, extremely woke people. And this was received terribly once the video came out. And of course, she was fired, but the damage was done. and everybody and their mother and their sister hated Bud Light, but now Bud Light's back with the UFC, and Kid Rock forgives them, and all this sort of stuff. But if you didn't drink Bud Light in the first place very often, if you're not Shane Gillis or Post Malone, then you were just like, okay, I don't drink Bud Light that much. It's easier to drink Coors Light or something else. The reality is, unfortunately, that most of the beer companies are pretty woke.